Do you want to make a video filled with Halloween chills?
Watch our two-part tutorial to learn how to build this spooky video that has a thunderstorm and scary images revealed when the lightning flashes.
Keep watching and Randy and Patrick will show you how.
This is Randy
And Patrick!
with more Create Studio 3 tips. Create Studio does not have any Haunted Mansion backgrounds, so I used one of the AI image generators to create this one. For this image, I used Copilot and entered the prompt of Scary Mansion Interior. It contains an odd-looking interior with old furniture, cobwebs, and frightening pictures on the walls.
What are those pictures on the far wall? Are they eyeballs?
Yes, Patrick, I believe those are eyeballs. But in part 2 of Making the Spooky Mansion, I will share how to change the images in the pictures. That is, until the lightning flashes reveal the spooky images underneath.
The eyeballs are nothing compared to Tom and Lenka turning into horrifying clowns.
Ah, you must be a chlorophobe.
What did you call me? You know this is a family tutorial, don't you?
Chlorophobia is the fear of clowns.
Oh, it is true that I am terrified of clowns. It is a completely rational fear.
Well then, you may want to avoid part 2 of the tutorial. That is where we learn how to turn Tom and Lenka into clowns. But in part 1, we will learn how to control the lightning to set the mood. We will transform this image into a nighttime scene with lightning flashes showing through the windows. So let's get started. A haunted mansion is way more spooky at night, especially if there happens to be a thunderstorm. So I will show how to make this image a nighttime scene. These concepts can be applied to any image you have. Currently, the image shows the mansion in the daytime. You can see the light in the windows and how it reflects on the floor. Transforming this image to nighttime is conceptually simple. Just create black shapes over the light sections and lower the opacity of the black until it sets the right mood. Since the drapes at the window have curves, we will use the pen tool to create the shape. Click on the plus symbol above the canvas and select Pen Tool. A panel displays that shows how to add a point with a mouse click. I will mouse click at the top where the drapes come together. A blue dot is added. From the panel, you can add a special point called Bezier point with a mouse click and drag. I will add a Bezier point to the bottom left. This will create a curve instead of a straight line between the points, and you can control the curve with these handles on each side of the Bezier point. I will also add a Bezier point to the bottom right. Add another Bezier point close to the original point and use the handles to control the curve along the drape. Finally, click on Connect Shape, and that is how I created the shape that fits inside the curtains of the window. By default, Create Studio shapes are blue color, so we need to change that to black. Click on the blue color bar in the Settings panel and change color to black. Change the border width to 0. Next, set the opacity so that some of the light shows through. In the case of this window, a value of 85% will allow the window features to show, but also make it appear to be nighttime. Next, I need to fix the light reflection that can be seen on the floor. In this case, I will use a triangle shape. Flip it and size it so that the edge is at the back of the room and the point is below the canvas. Again, change the color to black and lower the opacity to a value that sets the right mood. Okay, even after lowering the opacity, the triangle edges are quite visible, so the next tip is how to soften the edges. Open the Effects panel by clicking on this icon that looks like this. Find and drag the edge feather effect onto the triangle. Change the feather strength to 33%. Now we don't see the edges and the reflection in the floor has been eliminated. At this point, make final adjustments, resizing or repositioning the triangle to cover all of the reflection on the floor. There is one last reflection that needs to be addressed, and it is that thin area on the bench right in front of the window. I will use a rectangle shape and make a thin one that covers the bright spot. We don't want to see the edges of the rectangle, so add the edge feather effect to the rectangle and set the feather strength. Change the blue color to black and reduce the opacity to a value where the reflection is gone. Extend the duration of the shapes to match the background length. The next step is to create a thunderstorm. You can do this by opening the studio by clicking on this rocket ship looking icon and searching for lightning. This is a video of some claps of thunder that will be great to set the mood. Drag it onto the timeline and play it to see how it looks. The video is sized for the entire screen, so I will fast forward through this part where I reduce the size of the video and reposition it so that most of the lightning strikes are in the space of the window.
Randy, the lightning is inside the mansion. How are you going to put it outside?
We need a mask so that only the part of the lightning bolt in the window is visible. Fortunately, we already have a mask shape. It is the window shape that we created earlier. I will make more space on the timeline by dragging the canvas up. This allows me to see the window shape track called Path. To keep organized, I will rename that track to Window Shape. Next, duplicate the track by clicking on the duplicate icon above the canvas. Rename the new track Window Mask and drag it above the video track. Change the opacity of the mask to 100%. Next, select both the window mask track and the video by mouse click and dragging the mouse over both tracks. Right mouse click and select Mask Video with Window Mask. Now it looks like the lightning is outside the mansion. To make this video extra spooky, during the lightning strikes, we can make the black shapes semi-transparent, so the lightning appears to illuminate the inside of the mansion. First, I will move the lightning clip to the right about 2 seconds. Place the playhead at the start of the lightning clip. Click on the rectangle shape to see that the opacity is set to 70%, and then click on the triangle shape to see that its opacity is set to 62%. We need to return to those same opacity values when the lightning strike disappears. Okay. Advance the playhead one frame at a time by clicking on this double triangled icon. Stop when you see the lightning strike in the window. This is where we are going to change the opacity of the rectangle and the triangle shapes. The keyboard shortcut to add in the opacity animation is the letter O. This will add 2 opacity keyframes to the triangle track because that one was selected. Select the rectangle shape and hit the O key to add the opacity keyframes to the rectangle. Advance the playhead one keyframe and drag the second keyframe to the playhead. Tip: to make it easier to see each frame, we need to stretch the timeline, and you can do that by dragging this dot to the right. Now it is easier to drag the second keyframe one frame from the first keyframe. Do the same on the triangle track. Make sure the playhead is on the last diamond. Change the opacity to 0% and that will allow all the reflected light to appear. Select the other shape and also change its opacity to 0%. Now advance the playhead to find the frame where the lightning strike goes away. Back up one frame and use the O hotkey to add an opacity animation to both shapes. Drag the last keyframe to the left all the way for both shapes. Make sure the playhead is on the last keyframe, as this is where we will return the opacity to the original values. That is 70% for the rectangle and 62% for the triangle. Keep repeating adding the opacity animations to both tracks for each lightning strike you see. Tip: if the lightning strike is not so bright, then set the opacity to a lower value, but not 0%. This will add variety to the light reflection, which shows an attention to detail. I will fast forward through the remaining opacity settings. Okay, let's play that and see how it looks.
That is awesome! Hey everyone, don't forget to watch part 2 where Randy will show how to change the pictures on the walls and change Tom and Lenka into clowns during the lightning flashes. It is safe for everyone unless you are a colornophobia.
I think you mean to say coulrophobia.
That is what I said! Colonophobia!
Oh boy. Hey everyone, have a good day and happy creating.